and that, and came to my son Michael, and I said, "What does your dad do for a living?" He says, "He goes to the airport and makes bread." And she said, "Okay." And the reason that he said that, because every time I was always, with a bag on my shoulder, packing and leaving. He said, "Well, where are you going?" I said, I'm going to the airport. I got to make the bread."
This is a gentleman who transcends the word legendary, and we are so honored to spend some time with him this day. So without any further ado, let's welcome the fabulous Mario Andretti.
Hi there, girls.
How's it going?
Danica, thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. This has been so exciting. We have been looking forward to this since you agreed to join our show, and everyone that we've told has been like, "You get to talk to Mario Andretti," and we are like, we can't believe it. This is a moment in my life that I will never forget. So thank you for this.
Oh, you're very kind. You're very kind.
Thank you.
I feel the same way, by the way.
Thank you. Stop. Well, okay, so to start, we wanted to bring up the fact that I live in Miami, and so does my husband, Jude, and they are now, they recently announced back in April that they're bringing a new Formula One back to Miami. It's going to be at the Hard Rock Stadium. So do you have any thoughts on this new Formula One that they're bringing here starting in 2022?
I think it's awesome. It's wonderful to have 2 Formula One races in the United States. That's something very unusual, because Formula One is totally international, which means there's only one race in whichever country they compete in. So, but the U.S. is large enough that they could accommodate 2. And quite honestly, we've been waiting for that to be firmed up, and it finally is. So it's all going to happen, next spring, and certainly looking forward to it. Plan to be there. I have a lot of friends in Formula One, as you can imagine. So, yeah, it's exciting. Very exciting for us.
And I feel like you said, it's an international sport. I feel like Miami's an international city. Do you feel like it's a good pairing for the 2?
It's wonderful pairing, because also there's a very, very fertile fan base in South America throughout. So it's very, very, I think it's a natural almost to have it in Miami.
I couldn't agree more. I'm very excited. It's literally right down the road. I can see the stadium from my balcony, so I'll be over there. I can't wait.
Well, you'll hear them.
I'll hear them too. Right. True. Well, Danica?
So Mario, we're curious about obviously your very, very special abilities to be a winner in so many different types of cars, and we're wondering if you have an idea of what you can attribute that special talent.
Well, I attribute that to desire, really. I love the sport so much that it gave me the ultimate satisfaction throughout my career. I just love the challenges, and you could easily, like many, specialize in just one of the disciplines, one of the top disciplines, and be totally happy with your career. I wasn't quite happy with all of that myself. I just was more curious. And I had the ambition, to just go for everything that I could. And I feel that's probably the most important part of my career, from the standpoint of just recollecting all the experiences. They've been totally precious. And again, the sport is such a versatile sport. And I just want to be one of the versatile drivers.
And I feel like what you just said can be applied to almost any career in life, like if you want it, you can be driven enough to go for it. And I respect that so much. I mean, there's a reason why you are where you are in your career. And it's because, you clearly have that je ne sais quoi, that you worked, I think a lot of it though is, you're born with it, but obviously you also have to work hard. And you're a culmination of the 2.
Yeah, there's no question. But like I said, when you're driven by love and passion for what you're doing, it's not really even work. It's something you totally look forward to. I look forward to every one of my races, just going for it and having that experience. And basically, I still do look forward to going to any of the races. So that's in my blood, and it's been wonderful, not just to me, but my entire family. I mean, between my twin brother Aldo and I, there are 8 of us. And Aldo and I started this mess. I always say, but it trickled down to third generation on both sides.
Well, what was that like for you? I mean, first your son and now a grandson being like, you know what? I'm gonna race. I'm gonna drive. What was that like for you the first time that your grandson told you that he wanted to follow in your footsteps?
Well, all they have to do is just show some desire, and then obviously between my son Michael and myself, we could probably provide the opportunity, and it was there. So, but had to start from their own desire to want to pursue something like this, because the sport is all all sports are very demanding. This one has got a little more of the flavor of danger and everything else that you don't want to encourage directly. Maybe indirectly we have, of course, but you don't want to encourage directly for someone to pursue it. It has to come from within themselves.
True. And what would you say is the secret to like longevity in a career where maybe sometimes drivers tend to retire early? Like you said, it is a very dangerous sport.
Well, it's a very personal thing, quite honestly. I don't know how to really qualify that, but a lot of it has to do, with your physical condition and all of that. And that's something that is different with every person. And also your desire. Some people had enough after a certain time, and others, like myself, could never get enough. So I pushed the envelope. I mean, professionally, I raced professionally until I was 54. But I did my last professional race when I was 60, the 24 hours of Le Mans. So I don't know if that's smart or not, but that's me. I just pushed the envelope, and I'm still in the race car. You can see, like actually, oh no, just the shoulder.
I know it's backwards.
Shoulder, yeah, I haven't. So anyway, the double seater that's behind me. So I still get in a race car such as that, and enjoy the heck out of doing my thing a couple 100 miles an hour.
I know. I'm like, even when I take my Honda Civic up to like 70, I feel like I'm going fast. So I can't even imagine going like 200 miles, and I'm like, not for me. We'll leave it to you. We'll leave it to the professionals. But Danica.
Yeah, that's smart.
yeah. Even though Miami's like driving on a speed track, so it's scary down here.
Yeah, I would say I'm not nearly as good a driver as my namesake, Danica Patrick. Can't go anywhere near that kind of speed. It's terrifying.
I'll take you for a ride in a 2-seater.
I'll see if I make it through that without, completely passing out. That sounds wonderful and terrifying. Well, we wanted to ask about back in, I believe it was 79, when the Indy 500 conflicted with the F1 Grand Prix in Monaco. How did you choose which race to compete in?
Well, it's a tough choice, but at the time I was my full season contract was with Formula One, so that was where my priority was, and so I had to respect that. And unfortunately, every so many years there's a direct conflict, so I had to choose, of course, and I did. And that's probably in my 21 years in 29 starts in Indianapolis. I missed one along the way, and that was in 1979.
Wow. I'm sure the other drivers missed you, but they were probably happy you were at the other race, so they didn't have your competition. But how often does that happen when races conflict? Is it often, or?
Yeah. I mean, along the way, there are many conflicts, quite honestly. But Indianapolis is obviously the crown jewel of IndyCar. You know, the type of racing here in America. So that's the one that, and the conflicts with the crown jewel of Formula One, which is Monaco. And so those are the ones that stand out as far as the conflict. But it's each category, each discipline, they just do their own schedule, and if it conflicts with another one, so be it.
So be it.
That's the way it works. There's so many weekends, you know, during the season, and so it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of the other things we wanted to mention is obviously so many fans and fellow drivers look up to you as a mentor. But we wanted to know, who would you say that you valued as one of your mentors?
Well, I didn't have a direct mentor, but I gravitated to an idol, per se. You know, when I was just a youngster, my idol was world champion at the time in the mid 50s, which was Alberto Ascari, driving for Ferrari when I was still living in Italy. And that's really what started it all for me. And if I always say by the time that I saw my very first Grand Prix at age 14 in 1954 in Monza, the Italian Grand Prix, the mold was cast at that point. From there on, there was no plan B. And so I had no idea, you know, how it was going to go, whether I was going to be able to do it or not. But as a kid, you're allowed to dream. So we just kept that in mind with my twin brother Aldo. And when we came to America, the opportunities opened up, you know. And I always say that ultimately, you know, I'm a perfect example of the American dream, because the opportunities I had here to pursue exactly what I was hoping for in my life as a professional.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, we wanted to briefly mention, because, you know, since retiring as a professional race car driver, which is just such a cool thing to be able to say, first of all, the fact that you've now taken on so many different business ventures. One of the ones that I find most interesting is this indoor Carton games that you've created, that you've got. There are a couple of different locations. I highly recommend people check them out. So what was the impetus behind creating something like that?
Well, here again, falls back to opportunities. You know, you meet people along the way. And this is started with my nephew, John, who sort of found the perfect partner, you know, to start this business. And from there, it just grew. John asked my son Michael and myself to join, and then and again, it just all of a sudden it pretty much exploded because of the way the team has really produced something very special, something unique, which is not only just karting racing and all that sort of thing, but it's got entertainment for every family member that you could possibly think of. And also on the business side, you could have business meetings there. You could have team building meetings and so on and so forth. And so again, we're very proud of that. We just opened another, just last week, officially opened another brand new facility in Beaufort, Georgia. And there are many projects underway for the future. We're looking to open 3 more next year in different states.
Awesome.
And
That's
yeah,
great.
we have a very ambitious group there that is going flat out because it seems like the demand is there, and the communities that we obviously join seem like they're accepting us with open arms, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, it has to be a win-win situation. I've seen just the community, the way we're sprawling, you know, in Beaufort, Georgia, for instance, but everywhere we go, there's a lot of building going around. So it's almost like brand new communities being born. And it seemed like we fit that mold very well. And so again, it's just as long as the thing keeps going like that, the business will keep growing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Danica?
So one of the other businesses, of course, we wanted to talk to you about is the Andretti Winery. So the first question, I guess, would have to be, why Napa over another location?
Well, Napa is really probably the best, I think, no question, the best location in the United States to grow wines and all the different varietals. It's just the climate, the soil, everything. It's so correct for that. And so, we've been there for 25 years, but unfortunately, because of the fires and the pandemic that shut us down, we're probably we're pausing in that business. I don't know if I would be able to continue. Quite honestly, we basically closed the winery at the end of March. So, and that's unfortunate for sure.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, we had no choice. We had no choice.
Well, what can you tell us about like the Napa area in general for people that maybe have never had the opportunity to visit?
Oh, it's a fabulous, it's a destination for sure. There's so many wineries to be able to visit. They have a train and rail system that you can take, go from Napa all the way up to San Helena. And it's really a beautiful area. There's when it was fluid, you had tourists from all over the world coming there, and it started with the fires they've had last year, and now with the pandemic, where basically the wineries were shut down. In-house, you could not have tasting room open and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a different story, but Napa will be back to where it should be ultimately, and hopefully sooner than later. But it may have to do it without us this time.
Sorry to hear that, but yeah, man, crazy last couple of years. But what would you say is a side of you that the public maybe doesn't get to see, like some of your hobbies? Like we were reading on your website that you can sing operas in Italian, which we think is just so cool.
You don't want to hear that one.
No, we don't. Come on.
You don't want to hear that one. It only happens in the shower.
Okay, got it.
I don't have an audience then. No, I mean, I just love to be active. We have a property just about 70 miles from home here up north in they call it Pocono Mountains area, and we have a lake, and I have every possible toy that you want to have, as far as all-terrain or water toys, boats and race boats and tennis courts and all that. So again, we as a family and friends, we enjoy that very much. So when we're up there, we just play hard, and I love that. I fly, do some sport flying, my ultralight. I've been doing that for many years. So we pretty much, I'm pretty much the king of the toys.
Okay. Are you competitive when you're like out with the family and stuff too? Or are you able to just be like, it's just for fun?
Just for fun,
Okay.
But if there's a toy somewhere that looks fascinating, I usually go after it, and I have it. So, but I just love that sort of thing. That's how I stay very active.
That's awesome. Jude wants to know, outside of racing, who in your family is the most competitive with you?
Oh, I would say my daughter Barbie.
Oh yeah, is she competitive?
Out of sight. Actually, sometimes it's even annoying. That's how competitive she is.
Oh really? Okay. Okay. What is she competitive in?
To win. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great. It's great, except it's not so great when you lose to her.
Oh, fair.
Like
Very
playing
good.
tennis, for instance.
Oh, is she good?
She's pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
But she
Interesting.
learned from me.
Yeah. Fair. Do you ever play doubles, like so you don't have to play against her?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Smart.
do.
Smart. And Jude also wanted to know, what would you say was the genesis of your feud with AJ Foyt? It's kind of a big question.
I think feuds in sports are very healthy, in my opinion. Ultimately, when I came on the scene at the top level, AJ was already established. He's 5 years my elder, 5 years older than me. So um, I was a bit of a thorn on his side as a rookie, and so I could see that I was annoying to him, but. And while we were still active, there wasn't the best friendship there, but the friendship grew, later on, looking at each other, just having be able to just live through the battles and still standing every time that we see each other. He says, Mario, I can't believe it. You and I are still standing type of thing, So I even, on Twitter, I even called him my BFF.
I love that.
And when I wish him happy birthdays and so forth, but again, like I said, I think throughout overall, it was very healthy. I mean, it's healthy for any sport sometimes. And I think our rivalry lasted a long time. And that in itself, I think is a positive.
Definitely, because it almost pushes you to work harder. And I agree with what you said.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. That's a good point, kid. That when you have somebody that's obviously you arrive in the scene and they're much better than you, and they're setting the standard, and that's what makes you work harder to get to that level. And I look up. That's when you start reasoning in that respect. At the beginning, you figure, this and that. But when you grow a bit older, you start, realizing what's really important and how this and how that. And that's when I felt that I'm grateful to him only because he was, at such a level. He was so good at his profession that he made me work harder to be able to reach something, to the same level as his, So for me, I always said that to finish second to AJ Foyt was a hell of a good day, but when I won over him was an even better day. But it was, that type of thing.
Yeah, fair. Robert wants to know. Let's see. Could you tell us about your first ride, or how your first ride at Indy came about?
Well, it was something that you earn along the way. That you're coming through the ranks, and if you're winning, you're noticed, and people start talking about you, and that's really how it was. That's what I was hoping for, and my opportunity came up through one of the top drivers being hurt. In fact, hurt to the point that he was Chuck Haas never able to race again, and so the seat was open. And I became one of the contestants. There were a couple of options there that they were considering. And after a test that they gave me, I was hired. And from there on, it was just a beautiful relationship that I had with the first team, because we won so many races together. We won 3 championships together and all that. So wonderful things happen to all of us together, and it was very a wonderful opportunity. Unfortunately, I had the opportunity because of somebody else's bad luck, quite honestly. But that's the way it was in those days, especially because there were so many drivers getting hurt and worse, and so. You almost felt like a vulture, waiting, for your turn. But those were that was a cruel part of our sport. in those decades, when the safety was not at the level that we're enjoying today.
That's interesting. Well, I guess like kind of my mom, her question, because my mom's a yoga instructor, and she's wondering like, what kind of aches and pains do you get as a driver? Or is that not really a big issue?
A lot of people don't realize the physical effort that it takes because all the different forces, not only the driving itself, but the G forces you're experiencing, lateral, forward, reverse, like when you're braking and accelerating and all the bumps and everything. And so usually, any given race is slightly different, of course, because of conditions and especially a heat factor. But I'm not a big guy physically, but I've already lost as much as 6 pounds of water weight, like in a 12 hours of Sebring, for instance, where I had to take 3 days to be able to rehydrate, so, if you're working that hard, believe me, it's tasking. And a lot of people, our sport is such a non-participant sport that a lot of people say, well, what's the big deal? I can't see how it could be, physically that, that tough. But all you have to do is ride with me in that, like I saw that 2-seater, and you get some idea what it's about, and that's why I love that program, because I think a lot of people come away with, more appreciation and different perspective of what the drivers are all about. But trust me, as a driver, to be able to do your job and be as effective at the end of the race as at the beginning, you better be in the best shape possible. All these guys, if you look at them, I mean, they're just golden as far as the shape that they're in. Yeah, for sure, it's a sport that requires so much more of, the physical, condition than you could possibly think.
Wow. And I also assume sitting down for that long too also has an effect on like your spine and just the way you're aligned. I mean, is that
Well, the important thing is in a race car to be able to fit properly, so you have the proper lumbar support and everything else. And so you can do your job, for the duration. But at the same time, I mean, you're just pedaling. I mean, you're always working every, bone in your body, so to speak. And so you're flat out. That's why, like I said, every driver out there, they have their own physical trainer and so forth. They have a very specified regimen, to be able to, to have to condition yourself, not just to brutal strength, but to be able to just have what would it call it? Anyway, just to be able to sustain the punishment.
For sure, definitely. Okay, before we get to Danica's next question, Harold wants to know, and it's always tough to pick a favorite, but who has been, we can say, one of your favorite drivers to race against?
Well, I've had many, you look back in my career, how many opportunities I've had to race against some of the real icons of our sport over the decades, because you figure, through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, so I dare not really choose one in particular, because I know I'm going to leave several behind. Or not mention them, I should say. So when I look back, I mean, whether it was the sports cars, was dirt cars, was Formula One, Indy cars. I mean, I race against the very best of the different decades. When I broke into Formula One, who was a world champion, the guy setting the bar, was Jackie Stewart. And again, but just one of them. And he just mentioned AJ Foyt, in IndyCars, but there were others in IndyCar that were at the same level as AJ Foyt. And so, again, yeah, I've been very fortunate to have had those opportunities, quite honestly. when I start reflecting on, I could give you a pretty good list of these type of the individuals.
Awesome. Okay, we'll do one more question from the chat. This is from Michael, and he wants to know, what do you think about the rivalry between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen this year?
I think it's wonderful. Again, it's something that the fans just love. Me also, in particular, look forward to seeing. Lewis has had a phenomenal career up to this point, and setting the standard with the Mercedes. Where he had some pretty good advantage. With the equipment and making the most of it, I must say. But it was time to have a true challenger there, and he sure as heck found one. At the moment, I think Max Verstappen has been matching him, stride for stride, and that's a beautiful thing to see in the sport. That's what it's all about. But there are others, like I'm waiting for Ferrari to pick up, the form that they usually, you expect from them, and you have two great drivers in Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz also, two very capable, but there are others that Lando Norris and McLaren, is another bright star that you're going to hear a lot more in the future. But there's great talents out there. Sergio Perez, the Mexican, that's a teammate with with Verstappen, is another that obviously has been underrated, and I think he's showing his muscle right now. But I could name a few more. It's very competitive, and the rivalries that we see right now, as I say, at the top level, are really, really interesting to look forward to pursue and enjoy.
I was also going to say, and Danica, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I think racing drivers have the best names. I mean, like, these names are amazing, like Mario Andretti. It's a very good name. It's a very good name. Danica, why don't you ask one more question? I'll ask one more, and then we'll go to the game.
Sounds good. So obviously you hold quite a few titles and records and all kinds of things, but what would you say is your biggest personal life accomplishment?
Well, I have to look at the career aspect. I mean, my personal life accomplishment is to have a wonderful family together, with my brother and my sister. We have a family that there's strong love between all of us. And again, that's everything. That's what I think keeps everything. That's a glue that keeps everything together. And I think we're armed with that. The other part is to be able to have kept my family together after doing, all of this travel and everything that is required. That's, just following the demands of the sport, whereby, I'll give you a quick one. I was always traveling when my kids were just barely, in second or third grade. The teacher asked was asking the kids one day, so what does different kids, what does your dad do for a living? And some say, okay, he's a baker, is this and that. And it came to my son, Michael, and he said, what does your dad do for a living? He says, he goes to the airport and makes bread. And she said, okay. And the reason that he said that, because every time I was always, with a bag on my shoulder, packing and leaving. He said, well, where are you going? I said, I'm going to the airport. I got to make the bread.
I love it. I'm going to start using that.
Very humble.
Gotta make the bread. Gotta make the bread.
Make the bread.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's amazing. That's great. All right. Let me see. Okay. So we wanted to mention, you've appeared on Home Improvement multiple times. You were a voice in Cars, but we wanted to know, what would you say would be a standout film with a car chase scene? Like, is there one that stands out to you that you watch and you're like, this looks accurate?
Oh, yeah, racing. You made a racing movie?
Yeah, or yeah, a racing movie. Yeah, yeah.
Well, there were several. That the one that actually captured my imagination was back in the 50s, which was To Please a Lady with Clark Gable and Barbara Stanwyck. But the one that actually, to me, was the most realistic was called Grand Prix. And that was another movie that was, about the 60s or something like that. But it was done so well. Some of the others leave a lot to be desired, in my opinion, because I don't know. It seems like it's typical Hollywood. Some of the what they're trying to just jazz up is not exactly real. So I'm not a good critic for racing movies because I expect to be much more reality. So
Right. Right. Yeah, I get that. I mean, obviously we have Talladega Nights, and I think there's Ford versus Ferrari is another one.
yeah.
Is there like a really good movie for like Formula One? Is there like a good film?
Well, the one that I about Formula One was called Grand Prix.
Grand
It's a
Prix.
little bit,
Okay.
it's dated by now, but at the time I thought it was really done very well. As far as really, representing the sport in probably the most realistic way, I would say.
Okay. Rush is amazing. Oh, there's okay. Rush. Everyone's saying Rush. Perfect.
Well,
Thank
Rush was
you.
there too, but again, it's a nice story. It was a good story, but as far as the realistic side of it, since I was a competitor doing the seasons that were portrayed there, there were a lot of things that did not happen exactly the way that they showed it.
Okay. All
I
right.
hate to say that, but it is. That's a fact.
Right. Okay. Okay. Before we go to the game, this final question from Eric wanting to know if you can race in this era, would you? And if not, why would you choose not to?
Oh, I'd race in the New York Minute. If I was just at least I don't know 30 years younger, I would say maybe even 40. I would love to be able to race. The today's cars, which I'm somewhat familiar with for sure. I'm not that detached, but I always go for the latest and greatest as far as the technical side of it, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, I'd race today. If I was a little bit younger.
All right. Well, Mario, we have a game that we're going to play. So this is a game of Would You Rather. So there's no wrong answers here. And let's just get to it. I'll read the first one. So would you rather take Henry Winkler out for a lap around the track or take Jerry Seinfeld out for a lap around the track?
I like to do both.
Both? Just not in a two-seater. Okay.
I like both those guys.
Okay.
I think they would have a hoot. I would love to get a reaction from both of them.
I would love to see it. I would love to see that. I mean, I know Jerry's big with cars. I don't know much about Henry Winkler, but I think I would enjoy seeing that. All right. Danica, do you want to read the next one?
Sure. All right. Would you rather have a McLaren as a daily driver or have the Lotus 79 as a daily driver?
Oh, the 79 for sure.
It's a beautiful vehicle.
I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I could take that out to go to a drugstore. Yeah.
Just down the road, just a casual day drive. And yes, Eric, I know Henry Winkler's the Fonz. I'm just not sure if he's a car man. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather live in Tuscany for a year or live in Napa Valley for a year?
I'll take Tuscany.
Tuscany? Yeah, I would love to visit there as well. I'm sure it's divinely beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Awesome. All right, Danica?
Right. Would you rather drive a track with real life Mario Kart obstacles or drive a track in real life Cars movie automobile?
Oh, I'd rather be in a Cars movie automobile.
Okay. Well,
My car right there.
that there it
Number
is.
11.
All right.
Fun memories with that one.
What was that experience like?
Well, I won the Daytona 500 with that car.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I I also mean recording for the film. Did you do a voice for cars, or how did that work?
Yes, I did that. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Actually, that was it. The voice of that car, but basically.
That's so cool. That's amazing. All right. Me. Okay, let's do this. Next one. Okay. Who would you rather have the Andrettis race against the Waltrips or the Andrettis race against the Petties?
That's a tough one. I'd rather not race against any of them.
Okay. Fair. That's an answer too.
You know, we'd have to pick one or the other. We're friends with both.
Okay.
Maybe
that
it's
works.
both.
Yeah. It could be both. It could be both. All right. Danica?
All right. Would you rather try speedboat racing or dirt bike racing?
I'll take speedboat racing.
Very different experience.
Because I have some speedboats and I like them, and so we could always go faster.
It's a good motto in life. All right. Next one. Oh, would you rather race against Jay Leno or race against Paul Newman?
They'd both be tough, I can tell you that. I know they're both real car guys, and I've done some work with Paul Newman and so forth, and which was just one of the pleasure of my life, and I know Jay as well, but I've never raced him, so I'll take Jay this time.
Okay, I wonder how he would do.
Jay would hold his own, believe me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I think we have one more. Danica, you want to take it home?
All right. Would you rather sing a duet with Bocelli or with Pavarotti?
Oh gosh, both.
A trio.
Don't tell me I have to pick one. I love both. I love this. Each one have a very unique style.
Oh yes.
Which I enjoy equally. Give me something to really choose from. I cannot choose between these two. Let's do it both. Let's do both. I hate to tell you.
I love it.
No, that's.
I would rather have both.
Both it is.
We'd rather see both anyway. So
yeah, that's true. The most beautiful voices in history. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Voices of angels. Well, that's the end of the Would You Rather. So before we wrap this up, Mario, do you have any final thoughts you want to leave us with here?
No, actually, I've enjoyed this, whatever time we've had together so far. I think the time has flown, really. And thank you very much for having me on, actually.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it very much.
Look at that.
There you go.
That's the two-seater. So if you guys follow me one of the races, I'll give you a ride.
Yeah, that's now. How fast can a vehicle like this go?
Well, on a super speedway, we're doing around 200 miles an hour. So it's fast.
Okay.
We'll have to wear our diapers.
Fair enough. Well, Mario, we're going to go over our upcoming guests really quick just for the next couple weeks. So we have on Thursday, Mayra Diaz-Gomez from NWA. Special bonus show on Friday with singer-performer Lucas Rossi. Next week, we have Chum Lee from Pawn Stars, followed by Casey Jost from Practical Jokers, and starting out August with Alicia Taylor. And Mario, thank you. We seriously cannot thank you enough. This has been such a joy.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Well, have a wonderful rest of your day. And to everyone watching, we appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. Blah, blah, blah. Goodbye, everybody.